when I saw that match, I was like, there's nothing like that. Like, he got armbarred, and I didn't know what an armbar was, but I was like, looking at it, and it looked painful. It looked like this little guy was beating up this big guy and didn't make it look hard. He didn't look scared. And it just seemed to me like somebody had figured out how to defend yourself, but nobody was using it. That's what it felt like. So I wanted to get ahead of it. Like, I wanted to go learn how to do it. Didn't find anything, but I was like, man, all these suckers have no idea that this thing's already been figured out. And y'all are doing like just straight up boxing and kickboxing. And like, I started thinking about it. Like, what if they got taken down? Like, what would they do? And of all people, it's like when fights start, usually they hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then what happens? People just stand up and keep fighting. But like, no one like, so when I saw that, it just felt like somebody had cracked the code. And I wanted like in on it. Like, that's kind of like how I saw it.
I think that the whole world felt right and changed the whole martial arts scene. Everything went from karate and taekwondo to pretty much grappling and jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu.
Yeah. I remember I saw a fight with Evan Tanner, rest in peace. He was fighting, I think it was Robbie Lawler. And this was my first time like watching like a UFC like from end to end. And even then though, like I didn't do jiu-jitsu, but I knew kind of like what was going on. And I saw him finish the match with a triangle. And I remember like Robbie Lawler was like this young buck, like just knocking everybody out. And Evan Tanner was like, he didn't seem like super dangerous guy in comparison to like Robbie. Like, they show the highlights like at the beginning, and Robbie was all knockouts. And then he gets caught in a triangle, and then he taps right away. And then he's like, F, like he's like so mad. And I was like, even he knew he got caught. Like, that was such a cool thing to watch. And later I found out that Evan Tanner learned from just like watching videos, like by like training on his buddies, like watching like the old Gracie
Pat Militech, right?
Yeah.
These guys would just study VHS. I mean, we did that in New Mexico, just whatever we could get our hands on. And we would drill it and study it. And, and then when the mall went to Brazil and went to the source, right? Everything changed.
Yeah. That's kind of how it felt like for me. I felt like I found that VHS where I was like, I could like try and do this. And then later on, I found the Boss Rutan system, which was like it's completely different. Though.
And in
like,
New Zealand, you found it?
This was in New Zealand, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah,
that's
because Pride was really big, but there wasn't because of K1, because K1 was really already massive with K1 Oceania. Right. Mark Hunt had already won K1 Oceania. We had like Race F1, a bunch of people. But there were some guys crossing over, like, Mirko had done it. I think Mark Hunt hadn't done it yet. He was about to do it. So Pride was already kind of like coming over to New Zealand, but UFC wasn't really there.
Right.
So Boss Rutan was the commentator. So his stuff got like pushed, and we found like this like DVD set, and I remember like watching it with my brother, and my brother was like, "What is this? Like, this is insane." And I was like, "Yeah, but it's so cool. Like, he can grab like a glass bottle or whatever, and like use it for like whatever he wants. Like, he can literally like walk in a room and like utilize everything as a weapon." I thought it was so interesting. And then he was doing triangles in the middle of a bar.